guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. Let me see what's going on in the chat, you guys. Also, let me first say, welcome, Katie Rose. Thank you for joining. I appreciate that so much. And I left a comment in the chat. Members, we do members giveaways every few weeks here. And this week, on Thursday or Friday, we're going to have a giveaway with a bunch of freeze-dried candy. Last month, I did this with the freeze-dried candy, and I picked one winner. I think we're going to have 2 winners this time, maybe 3 bags of candy for each winner. So make sure to keep your eyes out for that. It's just like an interesting, unique way I could find to try to give back to you guys a little bit for being so awesome and supportive of me. So thank you, Katie. And yeah, but let me say hello to you guys before we jump into all of this. So hey, Tamara. Hey, Tony. Hello, Ava. Hey, Mame. Foxy. Hey, Deb. Let's see. Cutie Pie. Good to see you. Hey, Wolfie. Man, I haven't talked to you in forever, Wolfie. Hey, Stacey Lee. Chris, hello, good to see you. Mr. Tomato Head, always good to see you. Hippie Chick, Slink, Petunia, how are you guys today? Leo, hello. Miss Foxy, I'm sure I said hi already to you, but I definitely cannot miss you. So maybe you'll get 2. I always give Nate 2 hellos. So now you get 2 too. Hey, Crime Sleuthin, good to see you. Hey, Mandy. All right. We have a lot to talk about. It's been a while since I've covered this case. I truly, honestly, won't be covering it very often. Every few months, we may talk about it, try to get our face out there, do an update. There are many things we're going to talk about that have taken place. I've spent the morning gathering things for us to talk about. So let me go ahead and grab my little Facebook message thing where I save all of our stuff that we go over. So we're going to start here. We have some videos, some photos, some posts, just all kinds of different stuff to go through. So what am I going to grab first? I don't know. Let me see what you guys are. Let me think on how we're going to begin, because we've got several aspects of this that I definitely want to touch on. Summer's case has been made a complete mess from YouTube. And her case literally gets coverage every single day. There is nothing new. The things that they talk about are the drama between the parents. Hell, at this point, we have creators completely rewriting the story, going on their channel with Candace and saying, I don't believe that she bought Hunter those beers, or, just different things like that, completely rewriting the story. It's a mess. It would be really extremely hard if you have not followed this case to step in right now and try to figure out what has happened and what's been going on. Because of all the rumors and misinformation on YouTube. I see it constantly. I've seen, there's a lot. Both the parents have a very colorful past. We all do, right? And that has been dug into, but there's a lot of misinformation that's been spread about that even recently. So it's really tough to even cover this. Summer deserves to be talked about. She deserves her picture shared, her photo shared. And I've told you guys before, people had talked and talked and talked. They wanted an age progressed photo of Summer. We had people that were making their own. Well, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children comes out with an age progression photo, and people don't like the way it looks, so it's barely shared. People are like, that's not what she would look like. Well, so it's extremely frustrating following or covering this case. Hey, Danny B. Hey, Jessica, thank you. Hello, Rachel. Good to see you. But I want to talk about it. I want to talk about some of the things going on. I've told you guys before. This is one of the cases where, if I'm being honest with myself, I regret my coverage of, because I've had a lot of moments where I've been suspicious of certain people, including mom and dad, and I was pretty vocal about that. And then having just learned and having followed other cases and, making mistakes and growing along the way, I've learned that it's just not appropriate to do that. Number one, even if you're suspicious of the parents, at the end of the day, they're still parents of Summer Wells. And I'm just saying, for me on my channel, I'm not talking about anybody else. I love people that have opinions on both sides of this. I truly do love and respect channels with opinions on both sides of this. But for me personally, because of the other experiences I've had being wrong in cases, I really want to watch that. I don't want to do that. At the end of the day, these are parents of a missing child. And, you know, have also been very honest about the living situation and my thoughts on that. I just want to take a step back and try not to do that. At the end of the day, we need to talk about the facts of the case. We're going to talk about some of the things happening on social media and things like that. But I just think that it's not fair to do that. Also, we're 800, I was about to say 285 days, 825 days in, 2.5-ish years in, you know, and the parents have not been arrested. Local police are lead, I believe, on this investigation. However, they have the assistance of the FBI and TBI. That has been said multiple times. I don't have a lot of faith in the local law enforcement there. But at the end of the day, they have not been arrested. They have not been charged. And we have to remember that as well. And I just want you guys to know that you can have opinions that you're suspicious of them and share them in my chat or whatever you want. I think that's different from me because I just want to be cautious with my platform and what I put out there. I just wanted to say that at first because I know that people there's a wide variety of opinions with this. Hey, Christy C. Hey, Sunshine Magnet. Hey, Sunshine. Hey, Carly. So now that I got through all of that, we're going to talk about some of the things that have been happening recently. Hey, Mama Bear. Hey, Hair Curlers in Crime. They have totally tainted this case. Oh, Foxy. I mean, I've even been there, and I'm going to show you guys part of one of my videos today because we're going to get into, I'm going to show you one of my videos today, but it'll be in a little bit. But I actually went to the town and filmed and talked to people and, you know, some stuff like that, and been following the case pretty much from day one. Hey, Birdie's Crime Chat. Actually, the Glarer is how I found out about this, or how I really, you know, decided to cover it. He had messaged me and he asked if I was going to cover it. And that made me like slow down and take a closer look. So, hello, Maria. Good to see you. Had to take a break. I understand that. Let's see. Just get through the chat a little bit. Thank you, Mr. Tomato Head. Hey, Pointer Lover. I mean, we can all do better. You know what I mean? Hello, Scotty Skulls. Good to see you. Take out all the people and the bullshit. And what do you have left? The same thing we had at the beginning. Nothing. Oh, love you. Oh my gosh. And that is so true. That is so true. I'm so happy to see you. And your picture that you're using is one of my favorite pieces of art from you. Let me see. I had it as one of my in my StreamYard for a long time. I just did not want to take it off my backgrounds. But then I also didn't want to use it, you know, because I don't want to use other people's art. But yeah, I love that. Hey, Robin. Okay, so we're going to start with this account that recently popped up on Twitter that gained some attention. So this account called Vern Gilbert, and I grabbed some photos from here because they do have some great photos, sharing photos, asking what lake this was. They've shared this post: the most common way for a child to be trafficked in East Tennessee is by family or caregivers, not by abduction or kidnapping. This is the post that they shared that got a lot of attention. It says, she was not abducted by a stranger. No, not this one. I'm sorry. That was one of them. She was not abducted by a stranger. But the other one basically said that she was being sold an hour at a time, and it was written as if he knew this as a fact, right? So it got a lot of people were looking. They're like, what in the hell? What is going on? Who is this? They have some interesting clips on their account I want to share with you guys. But that's about as far as I'll go with that. I don't think that they're probably just assuming or guessing, giving their opinion. I don't think that they know anything. People were like, does this person, is that an inside source? Just, there was all kinds of stuff. So this is the article that came out around her 2-year anniversary when the age progressed photo came out. And I'm going to read it to you just so we have like a basic outline for people who don't know as much before we get into some more of the recent happenings. So it says, Hawkins County, Tennessee, the TBI has released a forensic photo of what missing Hawkins County child Summer Wells may look like 2 years after her disappearance. In a tweet from TBI, investigators said no, and we're going to look at that in a second. Investigators said no new details have come to light in the search for Summer, and her Amber Alert remains active. The TBI described her disappearance as one of the most exhaustive and involved missing child cases the agency has ever investigated. Though we have no new details to share publicly, rest assured, we're continuing to chase every lead in order to find Summer, the TBI wrote. Artists with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children created a photo of what Summer is expected to look like as of June 14th, 2023. On February 4th, she turned 7 years old. She was 5 when she was first reported missing. She was also first reported missing as a 4-year-old. I think that we forget about that sometimes, but it was incorrect. And a lot of things are incorrect at first. When you're rushing and you're in a panic and other, even the news that comes out will not always be necessarily accurate. TBI says, we won't stop searching for Summer until we have answers. No one has been charged in her disappearance to date. Anyone with tips or information is asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. The TBI asks that speculation from unofficial sources not be shared with investigators and only credible tips be passed along. They've also put out similar statements that would say, please don't contact TBI with a tip because you've watched a YouTube video and you have this assumption or idea. So I think they've got a lot of that. She was first reported missing from her family's home in Beach Creek on June 15th, 2021. Authorities say 400 people go missing in Tennessee each year. So let me click on this tweet just so we can see directly from Twitter. Now, Candace and Dawn, they've recently went to an event and had a little booth for Summer. I'm going to show you pictures from that. There was a celebrity there, I guess. I didn't know who he was, but many of you guys probably will. And some other things that have happened we're about to jump into. But first, let's look at this. So it's just the TBI tweet. On June 15th, 2021, Summer Wells disappeared, leading to one of the most exhaustive and involved missing child cases we've ever investigated. Though we have no new details to share publicly, so do they have new details? We don't know. Rest assured, we're continuing to chase every lead in order to find Summer. Summer Wells remains the subject of an ongoing Amber Alert. Thanks to forensic artists with missing kids, we have an age progression photo that shows what Summer may look like today. We won't stop searching for Summer until we have answers. Help by refraining from sharing speculation posted or discussed by non-official sources and reporting only credible tips to 1-800-TBI-FIND. So here is her beautiful little face, and here is the age progression photo. Wait, y'all ain't even looking at this because it's in another window. Here we go. Hey, Grubby Goats. Hey, Rock. He's Paunch from Chips. I saw that. Johnny Blackhawk, it's in Tennessee. So it's actually really close to where I used to live. That's why I went and visited. It's in like the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. I used to live in West Virginia, like more in the mountains. And this is very similar terrain to that. And good to see you, by the way. I hope you're doing okay. Hey, Just a YouTuber. I actually have wanted to do that for a few weeks now. And I think that I will. So be on the lookout for that. From his 2021 post, he got Candace her last name and some other information wrong. He don't know anything but what has gone on the internet, in my opinion. Okay, Amanda, that makes sense. I think that's of what I think. Is there any evidence to suggest she was abducted or sold into trafficking? Well, there are some things that people are suspicious of. There is this very famous, if you will, I mean, I don't know if that's a correct word, a video of her dancing that her mom posted online, and there's a barrel in the background, like a red barrel that says for sale. Many people have speculated about that. Is that unfair speculation? Even I speculated about it back then. Now I'm not really sure, you know. But okay, so I'll show you that actually, because I have it right here. This is a picture from the video of her in front of the barrel, dancing out in the rain. It is I think that what leads people to that. Evil Exist has a great video on it, if you guys are interested, where she shows like Summer kind of stops and she like puts her, like she's listening, like she's kind of being directed, and she does like a spin. Well, I think her mom was probably just like, I do that to my kids when I want a photo. I gotta say this, and this is the truth, that woman, Candace, took a lot of pictures of that baby, of all of her babies. There were pictures of them all over the place, and we're going to look at many of them today that I saved. Took them to do stuff all the time outside. They were always kind of doing little activities and stuff. Hey, Curious Jen. Curious Crime. She is beautiful, Johnny. Hey, James. Guy. I'm wondering if I could pin it down so I can go look. I know. Well, as soon as you ask, because of like your background, that it really piqued my interest. There's got to be a reason why there is no trace of her. And there have been huge searches. Actually, Tia and LFT have a very extensive Google Drive with all of the information on her case in the beginning, all of the interviews, the maps. I mean, I think that could be really helpful if you were truly interested, Johnny. Thank you, Nay, for dropping that. Deb says the shaved head pisses me off. Sorry. Don't be sorry. I can't believe so much time has gone by without a clue to what has happened. I became so obsessed with this case. I felt so attached. I can't believe I hate that it's been so long. And I'm with you. I agree. I feel the same way. Okay, so let me just flip through some of these pictures I saved before we get into I'm going to go to a YouTube video that I found with some of the pictures from this event, but there's also going to be some in this. There's always, like I said, lots of pictures of the kids, swimming and playing outside. They did that all the time. This is from the recent event. Rose is a Twitter account that I follow for all kinds of true crime stuff. She is on it. She has a lot of information, so I definitely recommend her account. But she posted this, and she says, what in the hell is going on? I do not know where to start. The creepy shirt, Eric Estrada. It appears as if he autographed her missing poster. And then we have Dawn and Candace at a missing kids event with Eric Estrada. This shirt, Daddy's Girl, Summer Moon, Utah Wells. I like the shirt. I think it's sweet. Now, look here. People may not like this, but this is just the truth how I feel. At least they were at a missing event. At least they were there. That, to me, is important because it just is. When parents are trying to talk about the child, Dawn has always been very vocal and wanted to talk a lot about Summer. Now, Candace, on the other hand, I can't say the same about that. She actually, will go on panels and they'll say, we're not going to talk about Summer. This is just to relax, that kind of thing. But Dawn has always been very vocal. And, think that the shirt is creepy, think that it's weird with the Eric Estrada, whatever you want to think. But at the end of the day, at least they were there, right? So, I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts. I'm happy to see them doing these kind of things. Hey, Addicted to Art and Crime. Alex, was the rumor Grandis was adopting Summer ever proved? Maybe Grandma is responsible. She's been elusive. I've never seen anything like that proved. B crumbs. I think I've already said hi to you and K-Braze, but I feel like the need to say it again. So hello. I did get lost once and was found 8 miles away. Hey, Mel, whatever. She must have been asleep when she, but yeah, I noticed that as well. Johnny, this breaks my heart, and I'm starting search and rescue teams on the East and Midwest territories to help law enforcement with these kinds of cases. Hey, if you want any help, I'll help, I'll help you get the word out about it. But specifically, if you wanted to look at this case in particular, I would love to help. Nay found some very interesting things on Google Maps in behind the house that we've been wanting to check out, some wells, and there's some mine shafts in the area. I've got a log of all the mine shafts. Yeah, I just want to go back regardless and look myself to see how accessible some of those places are. But all right, Mel, have sweet dreams, and thank you for stopping by. And you guys check out Mel's channel. Maybe one of the mods can grab it and drop it. She's hilarious. I love her. That would be amazing. Okay, let's keep going because we have a lot to get through from recent, pretty recent. So Kingsport News, which I'm pretty sure that media manager Tim runs this, but I'm not 100% sure, but that is my assumption. Okay, so it says Enrique Estrada is an American actor and police officer. Lead role as California Highway Patrol Officer Frank Poncherello in the police drama television series Chips, which ran from 1977 to 1983. Like I said, I know people are like, what? It's not about the slip. People are always criticizing everything, right? But at the end of the day, I'm really happy to see these parents at an event like this. Oh my gosh, Bree. Yes. I definitely will. That would be really cool to get to see you and some of other of you guys if I could. I want to do that, Mel. I saw a video from you the other day and I meant to watch it and I haven't got to watch it yet. It absolutely is, Johnny. Hey, that saying, it takes a village, is true. Hey, Tess. I think he's actually a deputy in a small town somewhere now as well. Oh, wow. Okay. I think it's great, Angela says. I agree. I am happy to see them going to events like this. And we're going to go to their website and I'll show you what they've posted on findsummerwells.com. But their Facebook account posted this post. Chasing Truth, actually, I saved this. She thanked him for coming by there. Let me keep going. It's just another photo, with different angle. Another thing that recently happened. I know he has a YouTube channel. Nate, can you help me? And never mind. It's on my community tab. You guys can go check it out and get more info. And I think I grabbed a link for it. But Trev Time, I think is the name of it. Went to the race this weekend and was, holding posters and flyers and stuff with this justice. What is up with my mouse? Oh, I see. I got something on my screen. He was, holding this flyer up and getting her name out there at the races. The news covered it as well. And that's on my community tab. Here's another photo of Summer. Tons and tons of photos of this baby. Oh my God. I love this one. I love this photo. I don't know, just her eyes are just so beautiful. She looks just so, I don't know. She's beautiful, innocent, sweet, full of love, life, all the things. Hey, Destiny. Okay, so Grubby Goat, I read that and I meant to mention it. Did I mention it? Had said that you had ran away and made it, or, got lost and made it 8 miles. Shaggy says 8 miles. Wow. Mr. Miller, Tim Miller, Equisearch, which, by the way, we did a donation on my channel to Equisearch in Summer's name, not in memory of Summer, but for Summer a while ago when we did this community sale. And I would love to do something like that again. Equisearch is an awesome organization that helps search for missing people, similar maybe to what you want to do, Johnny. But anyways, so he would know. Tim Miller would absolutely know. He says that he's still amazed at how far kids get, miles and miles away. Foxy, yes, I'll help you too. It's tough. Scott says, I don't think that age photo looks like her, more like my drawing, in my opinion. I agree. You know, I think, I mean, I thought the same thing. However, I still think that we have to share it because it's the best thing that we have, as far as they use like a lot of science to do those photos. I'm pretty sure they use like pictures of the parents during their teenage years and stuff like that. Pictures of her as a baby. They, you know, they use all this different science to try to come up with that. Oh, he's an internet crimes against children officer in Virginia. Thank you, Tess. It was a wonderful opportunity to get Summer's face amongst other missing in Tennessee. We were very thankful for everyone that stopped by the booth. Oh my gosh, Miss Chewy, was it your booth? That is freaking awesome. And thank you so much for doing that. Like, I just think that was so wonderful. I really was happy to see that. Johnny says, all my search and rescue teams are going to be volunteers from these communities to bring people together and lock our communities down. I think that's awesome. Yes, Danny, I agree. Okay, so let's keep going because we got some other things to look at. Lots. Actually, I hope that we can get through it all because I grabbed quite a lot. So Kristen from WCYB, this is the link that was shared with the age progressed photo, I think. No. With the race. And I got that link for us. We're going to look at that in a second. A big thank you to Trevor Lee for being out and about in the race weekend in Bristol, Virginia, or Tennessee. So, oh, I love that picture of her too, in the little Burger King crown. There's Summer with her butterfly clips, little baby Summer. Summer playing outside. She's little there. This picture was not long before she went missing. This is a flyer with the age progressive photo. I wanted to show you guys this from the Missing and Exploited Children, you know, the national network, whatever. And another one that someone else had done on the right. Scott, I wish I still had your drawing right here close, but it's definitely not close. I even had a whole different computer then. Oh, I love that little picture of Summer as well. Now, this was put out from this account called Mark Zuckerberg Parody in December of 22. And they shared an email that they had with TBI, Public Information Office. And they had asked them if they had taken over the investigation. And they responded with this. And I think this is interesting, just to point out who exactly is in charge here. They said, good afternoon. Our role in the Summer Wells investigation remains the same. We continue to work alongside the FBI and the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. Regards, TBI, Public Information Office. So they are not the lead. They are working alongside FBI, and I am certain Hawkins County is the lead. I wish that would change. I think that needs to change. On her birthday, they shared this. They said, you know, it's her 7th birthday. She's been missing nearly 20 months. TBI, as in, is who they is that I'm referring to. We haven't forgotten her, and we won't. Agents continue to investigate the circumstances surrounding her disappearance. Please call 1-800-TBI-FIND with credible information. So there are slightly different versions of what happened the day she went missing. But for those of you guys who haven't followed, and we can do a live just specifically on like a catch up to, if you don't know the case, to get to know it one day. But so Summer's grandmother had a knee injury. Summer's mother took her grandmother to the hospital. Her 3 brothers stayed at home, but Summer went with Mom that day. Mom picked up this teenage boy, I think he was 15 at the time, Hunter, and Hunter, Summer, and Mom went swimming at Warriors Path State Park. During this event, Hunter told police and retired officer who interviewed him on YouTube that Candace had bought him vapes, twisted tea, and he also describes an incident where Summer was underwater too long and he had to save her. But after that, she was fine. There's a video of her in the car on the ride home. Then she gets home and She spends some time with mom and grandma. She supposedly gets some candy from grandma, and mom is going to fix grandma's knee and tell Summer, Summer goes to the house. There's a couple different versions of how this happened. We have Candace walking her to the door, just slightly different versions, but let's just say Summer went into her home, past her brothers who were upstairs watching TV, and supposedly downstairs. They don't know if she went out the downstairs door and went out to play or what, but she was never seen again after that. Mom, I think, left and went looking for her herself before she called police for a few minutes, about half an hour. She went out for a drive, and there are some other things. There's a red truck that was said to have been in the area, not as a suspect, but just as a witness that has never been identified. And then the parents, there's a lot of people who are very suspicious of the parents. That's just the flat out truth, which happens all the time, but we've seen it happen when these people are innocent too. And I just don't want to take the chance of being on that side, just in case. I think just to be respectful to Summer, that's like kind of why I want to do things a little bit differently here. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Roxanne. Good to see you. Bendy, my beautiful Bendy, how I've missed you. I snuck and got confronted with guns. I may have misunderstood, but I was watching about another case, and they talked about the age progression photos and said because they only do them every 2 years, they try to make them cover more time. I've heard that as well. I heard they couldn't do one until she was gone at least 2 years. When I was a kid, I would get distracted when playing in the woods with my dog. He would chase things and I would follow him. Well, this is the thing. The terrain is pretty rough here, okay? This is like the Appalachian Mountains. And I'm telling you, and we're going to look at a TikTok that was just taken a couple days ago of their driveway. I'm going to show you what that looks like compared to when I was there. I will say, though, it does not translate on the camera how actually steep the driveway is, and the hill behind the house as well. It's quite steep. This is the flyer that FBI put with her birthday thing. I just wanted to share that. And then at one point in time, Sheriff Ronnie Lawson did come out and say that Summer's family was not cooperating right now. These are just the facts, no opinion. This is the truth. So I don't know. There are different rumors of that. At the time, he said they got a lawyer. Family said they didn't have a lawyer. Now it's come out they did have a lawyer. I don't know. There is so much bullshit mixed in with this case, and so many money-hungry grifters who just every day or even every couple days, everything Candace and Dawn say this, oh, God, this and that. I don't know. It's made this case a mess. Can someone get me a map of these mine shafts and wells? Absolutely, I can, Johnny. Yeah, it would have to let me have today to get it together. But when I was down there before, we got all the wells within like an hour of the house, I believe. And then we also got the mine shafts within that far. There's websites where you can, they have the locations of all of these saved. So we could absolutely do that. One time, me and my sister followed my mom's friend's dog in the desert. We got lost. It seemed like we were miles from home, but we were young, so probably further than... Oh, wow, Jen, really? I have the utmost respect for you, Alex, because you haven't jumped on the hate bandwagon. Oh, thank you, Miss Chewy. I appreciate that. Well, I got to be honest. I've had my moments, like in the beginning of my coverage, where I was probably too critical, and I regret that. I do. I just would like to do things differently. And if we can't admit when we're wrong, like I know people in my own personal life who have such a hard time admitting when they're wrong. I think that's a major thing that we should all be able to do, right? And that's a character flaw because, yeah, we're all wrong at times. We're all human, but you have to be able to say it and do better and admit it. It is what it is. It's not, life is not pretty. A lot of the things that I've done in my life are not pretty, especially through my years in addiction. That is just the truth. Hey, Jen Joya. Hey, you don't know me. TBI Leslie walked back this comment about not cooperating, did she? I don't think I've seen that. I truly thought we'd have answers by now. I don't think we ever will now. Oh, God, Katie, I hope we do. Thanks, Ellie. Stay positive, serve our communities. This is the main mission. Like I told you, Johnny, Tia and LFT have a Summer Wells folder or drive that is exceptionally well done, so detailed. And then with that, with along with we can get the maps of the wells and those things, there is I think a lot that we could do just ourselves. It hit me kind of hard how TBI said this case was outside the norm. Knowing that, it makes me think of an alternate scenario. Miss Chewy, when Candace was at the booth, did people say nasty things to her? Wow, Jen, that's crazy though that happened to you guys. Oh, Tamara. I would not cooperate with a sheriff who has hidden the fact his son. Yeah, we have that aspect of all of this too. I'll tell you, I did a anti-corruption video. No. I said that so wrong. I'm sorry. I did videos into each potential person, like suspect or potential suspects, not even suspects, just people are in the case, like Robin, David Dotson, Jody Sue. We did several on her. Ronnie Lawson. The Ronnie Lawson video was featured on an anti-corruption police website, which was very interesting. And there's some stuff with that. I don't know. We may get into that at another time, but there's definitely some stuff there. Hey, 871-187. I think I'm lost. I'm in the wrong chat room. Johnny Blackhawk, 12 years clean serving, my peeps. That is freaking awesome, Johnny. I just went just over 7, which I don't call myself sober. I smoke, the green. I don't consider that the same, but I do consider I'm definitely in recovery. I'm definitely every day working on a better way of living and nowhere near where I used to be. But I know that some people have their thoughts on the devil's lettuce or whatever you call it. I was a whole heathen. I know you was, Jen. I know it. That just makes me laugh even thinking about it. Foxy, we're all different from who we used to be 100%. Sometimes I wonder what is worse for summer. Knowing that we hear about trafficking, it makes my tummy hurt, for lack of a better term. I know. I'm going through that in my town with law enforcement and their empty promises. I was just thinking about Rachel this morning. Just curious if, oh, Deb, you're the best. I was just curious if anything, just waiting to hear something, man, and waiting for him to be found. And I don't know. If you're going searching, I will go. Well, I think I want to see how accessible some of those mine shafts and wells are. And if you've ever been in the world of like using and partying and stuff, it is often talked about like throwing people in mine shafts. Like you'll hear that a lot, and especially in like the Appalachian area, it's just kind of part of the culture that it's a known fact that, people disappear in those things. Miss Chewy says, we had just a couple that came back early on and we nipped it in the bud really quick. We said we aren't here to point fingers, only to bring attention to the missing. It's our medicine and prescribed. Absolutely. 87 is Woofy's bestie, Allie. You got to keep an open mind. Law enforcement does. The real kidnapper will never get caught if everyone's focusing on the wrong person or persons. Okay, so also just to I wasn't going to mention this today, but I will just briefly for a second. Summer's grandmother has also attended missing children's events and put up booths for Summer or missing persons events because her daughter is missing. So this is another aspect. People who haven't followed, Summer's aunt, Rose Bly, her mother's sister, has been missing for a while. Gosh, well, I think it was in the 2010s, around like that day in between 2010, 2015. I don't remember exactly. It's been a long time since I looked at it. She's been missing though for quite a long time. She's never been found. No sign of her. But it says Wisconsin missing persons. This was just a post from Lisa. But it says Wisconsin Missing Persons Advocacy Incorporated held their annual missing persons awareness event today. Rose's mother, Candy Harrer, Candace's mom, who's also named Candace, who also was there that day. Like I told you guys, she had the bum knee. So she goes every year and has a table for Rose. This year, she added a table for Summer. This was like last year, a year and a half ago or so, I think. They also are having a 2-day online Lights of Hope event. And then this was part of her booth right here. So that was the Luminara. They did like the lanterns, so yeah. That's why we need peeps on the ground. Miss Chewy, there were several responsible for the booth, Toaster Oven, and Nana for Life. TT Jinkies, rumor has it. Oh, that is so awesome. There are so many people who, oh, Nana for Life, that is so awesome of you guys. There are so many people who have been touched by her, you know. Is resurrection a religious meaning? Thank you, Pointer Lover. 12 years. Well, yeah, that's, you know, all about the end times. And I don't know. I'm not super religious, so I won't even try to describe it. Okay, but let's look at some of the other things. Actually, hold on just a minute. I meant to be in my other Facebook account. That way I don't accidentally have a message from any of you guys or anything like that come up and then accidentally show it. That's the reason I do that. I have a second account where I send everything to myself that we're going to go over, and I don't accidentally share anything, because I've done that before where it like Facebook messages pop up and stuff. I'll be sharing the screen and then accidentally show something of somebody's they maybe didn't want it to be seen. So we're going to do it like this to prevent that from happening. Okay. So let's look at this TikTok. Bullhorn Betty and Olivia recently were in Tennessee. Okay. They have quite a history with this case. I'm not going to get into. I have pre-recorded videos. I've given my thoughts on it. They're not necessarily nice, so I won't get into all with the protesting and Dawn and Candace losing their jobs because of them and stuff like that. I'm not a fan of that. I just don't like it, but that's as far as I will go. But Olivia does a really great job with her videos, and I thought this one would be good for us to look at together because it was taken 16 days ago, posted 16 days ago. They were just down there. It is footage of what the driveway currently looks like within the last couple weeks in the area, and I just wanted to talk about a couple of things I noticed. So let me rewind it, and then I'm going to mute, and we'll just watch it in full. I won't interrupt so you guys can hear it, and then we'll chat about it at the end.
So right now I'm standing in front of the driveway where Summer Wells disappeared. She vanished 2 years ago on June 15th, 2021, and it has been a mystery. Her parents were on Dr. Phil and they didn't search for her. It's just been a complete mystery. What happened to Summer Wells? Is she in these woods? Could she have been buried out here? Is she on the property? Did someone kidnap her, abduct her? Did an accident happen and was her body disposed? We don't know, and we may never know. It's been 2 years. And this is where she lived with her siblings. The last time we were here, it was the winter time, and there were tons of dogs on the property. The dogs were malnourished, not being fed. One of the dogs was actually dead. It had been run over by a car. and its body was rotting over there. It was just left there like roadkill. We fed the dogs, we brought them food and treats because they were starving. Many times animal services had to come and rescue animals off of this property. Summer's parents, Don and Candace Wells, their children had to be taken away by CPS because the children were living in unsafe conditions. They were hungry, not being fed, they were not being bathed. The children were growing up in filth. The last time I was here 2 years ago, Summer's toys were scattered all along this hillside. Now, it's very hard to see in this video, but this is a very steep slope, and her house is at the very top of this small mountain. I mean, everything is overgrown, so I can't really see, but her toys were all over this hillside, even months after she had been missing. It was a very eerie sight to see.
Okay, so just a couple of things. First of all, I didn't think the dogs were malnourished. I know that a lot of people had issues with all the dogs there. There was the Humane Society was called over and over. They actually put out a post like I can't even remember. It was a crazy situation. It was another instance of YouTube taking things entirely too far. Those dogs had a ton of dog food. I mean, there were huge bags. There was like a bin at the end of the road for people that donated dog food. So, there are several points in this that I just didn't, oh, hey, Deeds, that I just didn't agree with. She doesn't know that for a fact. We don't know why the children were removed. No, we know that Dawn said, that it was dangerous because there were a lot of people coming up on the property, which I believe that's probably part of it, an aspect. It was. Like I said before I played this, some of the things that even the protesters and stuff were doing, it was pretty bad. They were showing up at their house. They were showing up on their job sites, got them fired off of a job. I mean, it was awful. So, but I'm going to go back and mute it because I really just want you guys to see what the area looks like. And we're going to look again at the hillside and that kind of thing. And also, I've noticed some interesting things that have changed.
2021.
So when I was there, I will say she's right. It's very steep. It's way more steep than it looks. But when I was there was the mailbox was painted purple for summer. There was like these big bins at the end for dog food and people to leave stuff that were painted purple. And yeah, that's changed a little bit. Hold on. I did want to highlight a comment that I think I forgot to read out loud. It was from Nana for Life, and it was really... Okay, we also have Summer's information on every monitor and every movie screen at Fort Henry Mall Cinemas that Chasing designed for us. That is freaking awesome. I love that. Patricia says, I think the parents' socioeconomic status made this case a target for users and abusers. Well, people were so shocked to see some of the way that they lived. I mean, it was very typical for a low-income, Appalachian culture family, to be honest, So, but Johnny, I don't know of any Mormon churches. I know there's the Seventh Adventist church there, and I know there's some Baptist churches there. It makes me so angry the spread misinformation. Myself and a neighbor were taking turns feeding the dogs. Yeah, I didn't think they looked malnourished. And there were giant bags of trash bags dog food down in a trash bin type thing that was probably used for trash at one time. And the Humane Society, if I'm not mistaken, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but they put out a tweet that was basically like, stop. Like I said, another instance of YouTube going too far. Like, we are aware of what's going on and some level of more misinformation. I mean, yeah, it was just a mess. The children were not hungry or filthy. Oh, that's another thing. Like I said, understand the lifestyle or not, like them or not. Look at all the photos that were taken of those kids. Look at all the trips that they went on. I don't believe they had a picture perfect lifestyle, right? They didn't have this social media. Like we look at, think about the facade that you see on social media. Like that's Janine Watts. Like you see this outside picture that looks so nice. They didn't have that right. But there are a lot of ways where you can see that the kids were loved, you know. There's only a few reasons why the kids were removed according to state law. Leaving used oh my God, I did not even know about that. We'll never know unless they do get charged with someone pertaining to it. What with why the kids were removed? Well, you know what? And even if they were charged with like some sort of abuse or neglect, a lot of times in like the family courts, unless they were criminally charged, because you can be charged like with CPS and not criminally charged. Sometimes you don't even know about that stuff. It's, you know. Woods are thick in eastern Tennessee. She couldn't believe how much brush there would be to look through. Okay, that's another reason I wanted to show you all this. So let me go to that part of the video if I can get to it. Okay. This is behind, okay, like on the side and behind their house. Could she have been buried there? I didn't like that at all that she said that in the video. I'm like, if she was buried there, the police did a very extensive search. I don't. Anyways, let me just say, this is the hillside beside and kind of behind her house. The hillside is covered in very, very thick brush and trees. It would be very hard for anybody to maneuver through, I got to say. But at the bottom of the hill, you have the creek. And it gets pretty high. When I was there, it was very high. But then after the creek, you have like a 90-degree embankment and then the roadside. So I don't think that she could have wandered off in that direction. She would have had to go the opposite way if she did wander off. We are also running social media ads with a video of Summer right now just on Facebook. Oh my gosh, Deets. That is freaking awesome. See, I love that. You guys are, that is so awesome. The billboards, I know that there's some of that. I wanted to mention that today as well, but I don't know the details of it too much. So a lot of people live like that there. It's kind of normal in them hills. Scott, it absolutely is, especially when you get into low-income families and just to have to be honest, you know, people who use and stuff like that. That's just the truth. Her hair curlers and crime, that's exactly my line of thought too. She says, I've really been thinking that lately. There is a reason they haven't had any of those charges. There is a reason why it has been 2.5 years and the parents haven't been charged with anything. Now, I'm not saying that means they're innocent, because maybe they just don't, I don't know. But I'm just saying, I think it's been long enough where we have to stop and take a step back and understand that. I get Hawkins County is, you know, throwed off a little bit, but FBI and TBI have been assisting. TBI has been a huge part of the investigation. Hell, the tip line, call 1-800-TBI, find, you know, so we have to have a little bit of faith in these organizations and know that, you know, that has to mean something. Some people need help to live on a daily basis, and unfortunately, they don't get that help until they have suffered a life-changing trauma. We don't know for sure about anything. Absolutely. What we know for sure about is her case has been used for a bunch of people to make money. Don Wells, from his own mouth, went to social media to you know, get the word out, and he did not understand the monster that it could become. By the way, in my thumbnail, I put she's been missing for 825 days. And that is just because once Brandy went on, and we talked about this a little bit the other day. I think I have a clip from Evil Exist on it. We'll watch in my stuff for us to go through. But she asked, how long has Summer been missing? And Dawn says, you know, in days, and Dawn didn't know. And I just want to say something about that. I don't think that means anything. I think Brandy's a mom who has kept, this is just my opinion. Brandy is a mom who has kept a very close, men and women are different, number one. People are different, number two. She has kept a day-to-day count. Dawn has not. That doesn't really mean anything. We have people in recovery who keep a day-to-day count. I didn't. When I got off of all the shit I was on, which was multiple things, nerve pills, pain pills, everything, and it had to do a little bit at a time because I did it because I found out I was pregnant. But when I got off of it all, I felt so bad. I did not care or think or give a fuck about what day it was or saving it. I was in bed most of the days for weeks there, sick. And that was just the way I did it. Everybody's different. Because I didn't keep the day and somebody else may count every single day, does that make a difference in the fact that we've both got off of those substances that we were on? No, it doesn't. So to me, that doesn't really mean anything. I just put 825 days to take note of. It's been 825 days. Hey, Mountain Mama, y'all, as my name suggests, I'm Appalachian. So if you have any questions and are nice about them, I can answer. I visited Rogersville many times. My kind of woman. Yes, they played outside. Play outside. They're going to get dirty. I just pray every day for Summer to be found and come home. The family needs reunited. In my opinion, everything needs to be searched over. Something could have been overlooked. I hope that they will, but that was something else that I saw today, and I think I've grabbed. They actually did go back out by the house, and they did a second search in March of 2022. And at the time, one of the officers did an interview, and he said that he believed she was close. Okay, so I want to go back and just show you guys when I was there, some of what I saw at the property. I do know this, when we went into the grocery store, the person that worked there told the girl that was with me, like she asked him if he had heard about the case, and he was like, yeah, I know her. She was in here all the time yelling and screaming at the kids, so that was something I took note of. I mean, again, does that mean much of anything? No, not really. Another thing I took note of, I'm going to be honest with y'all on both sides. I don't think it's fair to attack any of these people and say that they're a part of this, but I'm also not going to sugarcoat shit, okay? That's just not my style, and I've got to be honest. When I was there, you turned on Beach Creek Road, and about every 10 or 15 feet, you saw a poster for a missing dog. These posters were laminated. They were... you could tell that this mother of this dog, or this dog owner, very badly wanted to find her dog. There were none of Summer, except for there was a couple of things at the end of their driveway. But, and I'm talking Beach Creek Road, because Ben Hill Road doesn't really have traffic like that. It's different, but Beach Creek Road is the main road. And also the back of their hillside, it comes down directly onto Beach Creek Road. So that really stood out to me at the time. I can't, that's just the truth. I noticed that, and I'm like, damn, that sucks. Another thing, there weren't pictures of Summer on any of the stores. I noticed in the tobacco store, there was a lottery machine that ran a Amber Alert message with her name on it. And I got footage of that. It ran the message for like a few seconds, didn't show a picture or anything. So at the time, there was not a lot of that. It's really great to see all the Facebook posts, the billboards, this booth you guys have done. So, because I don't think that she got a ton of that at first. I don't know the details of the billboards either. I just know several are doing those. I would want to do one of those if I knew more about it. Like, I would do one from my channel. On the 21st this month, we could buy one, but I just need to know a little more about it. There have been several additional private searches. In my opinion, if Summer was there, she would have been found. I agree, Nana for life. On North Carolina-Tennessee border, how many hours of interviews does law enforcement have with the parents? Well, I don't know. We don't know too much about that. Like I said, we know Ronnie Lawson made those comments before about them cooperating and such. I don't know. I know that Benny Keys, that's another YouTuber who went and visited. He said, like, when he was there, the cops were just not like they didn't treat them very nicely, the family. I don't know. It is possible that they haven't gotten the boys back to not passing tests and not completing the reunification process. Sub to Crazy's channel, we did a video on it there. I don't know which video you're talking about, but definitely sub to her channel. Hey, Delana. Detective Pruitt stating we think she would be close by has me worried about Summer possibly being hidden then moved out of the area because the alternative hurts my heart too. There is a look. I've looked at this case with such like a dark outlook for a long time and had like I said, I regret some of my coverage. I've been highly suspicious and probably too tough on the family. And even the media manager who was still nice to me even after that, it was pretty funny the way that he watches. He had known some of the things that I had said, but there is a huge chance that, or at least maybe not a huge chance, I don't know the percentage, but there is a chance that she's out there alive somewhere. We have this smallest little, I'm sure that this is probably not very likely that it was like a legal adoption or something. My heart has always wanted to believe that it was something like that though, right? Because if it was anything else, we know that she's suffered or she's suffering or whatever, and that is hard to think about. But we do see, think about like, what's her name? JC Dugard. And, what was the other one that was taken out of her bed? And her sister was like in the room with her when she was taken. I can't think of her name, but I know you guys know. It does happen. I would bet my house she was dragged off by a wild animal. Something will one day be found. See, Patricia, I don't know about that because, okay, so when I think about like what could have done something like that, the only thing really that I believe would do that would be like coyotes potentially in this area. Because like I said, I grew up in this area and I grew up in the woods. I was a tomboy. Like I loved playing outside and playing, like I had older brothers. So I was always like in the dirt and playing that kind of stuff when I was little. And I just don't know. Like a bear, unless she like came on a baby bear and a mom saw it and like was protecting her, a bear would probably run away. There are mountain lions and things, but usually most of these animals are more scared of you than you are of them. Coyotes, on the other hand, which are in the area, they will actually. There was a show I watched on Investigation Discovery not long ago about a young lady who was mauled by like 5 or 6 coyotes in the woods, but there was a lot of evidence left behind from that. If Dawn and Candace scolded her for wandering off, it could have made her hide from searchers if they got near. Oh, Meta Mom, I don't remember the day or how many days, weeks, months it's been either. I didn't go to recovery. I also got pregnant and quit. You're amazing, Allie, by the way. I've Meta Mom, my kind of people. And congratulations. Hey, Tiff. And the boys don't want to go back, from my understanding. Well, that's what Don said. Don said himself that they don't. They're in a home with a family that apparently has money, according to Don. I've kept a day-to-day count of how many days we pray Summer is found. Oh, wow. Only from YouTube when you lived in that area? Yeah. They did have dogs there. That is true. Dr. Phil, I believe, showed McDonough's footage of the house. Elizabeth Smart, yes. Thank you, guys. She wandered away has always been Occam's razor to me. You ain't lying, because you've always been in here kind of with that opinion. There are flyers. They searched for 13 days. If my opinion, if she had wandered away, she would have been found. Oh, I didn't know that, Patricia. They had their babies expertly. Okay, well, let's keep looking, okay? It was, Tiff, and that's the truth. I mean, we have to be honest. It's unfair to blame these parents. Also, probably the conditions there were not, I mean, I would never allow my kids to exist in those conditions. That's just the truth. And but that doesn't mean, we can't also go from that to jumping to conclusions that that means they were responsible for this. But I wanted to share, we're going to look at a couple other things. I'm sorry, you guys. Let me show you the end of the road really fast. They had like purple spray paint on everything. Let's do it like this. This is like driving on the way there. It started raining as soon as we got on Beach Creek. And we had to pull over and wait a minute. So this is where you turn into their driveway. And if you see right here, there was like this little green thing and some flyers at the end on that side. And then on the other side, now hold on a second. Let me actually show you. Remember when I said that hillside with her toys was very steep and it comes to this creek and then like a straight up and down guardrail and the road? That's actually right here. This is the roadside where Olivia was walking when she said the hillside was where all her toys used to be. That's right here if you just keep walking there. Then you turn up. They had these flyers, and then on the other side there was like a Paw Patrol toy. I think that I show, or I might show it after. Wait, yeah. So this is how far their house is from the bottom of the road. If you think about Summer wandering off, I had wondered if she could make it down the driveway because it doesn't look like it in the video as much, but it's very steep. I just have a hard time believing that she could do that and bounce. I don't know. I would think that like a little kid would probably have a little bit of trouble, maybe scoot on their butt or I don't know. So on the right here, this is their driveway. You see, this said, I think that said like dog food or something. That was the one, like I told you guys, they had things where the people were leaving bags and bags of dog food. I mean, I don't know. The driveway in the video does not look steep. However, it is, like I said, pretty steep. I'm not sure she can make it down it. And then we have the mailbox, which was spray painted purple at this time for Summer. Now, in the video Olivia had, the mailbox was no longer like that. We know that they hadn't been living there for a while, though, and maybe that's why. So I just got out and looked around right there. I would never go onto their property or anything like that. It was very interesting to see in person, though, because it was so steep. Video does not translate those kind of things well. There are certain colors that just won't translate through video and certain depths that won't as well. Thank you guys for being with me and hanging out with me today. Oh, Thistle, you're so welcome. I've got a lot of it, like in a couple of old videos, but I would rather be wrong for treating them with respect and kindness than be wrong for hating and bashing. Absolutely, Miss Chewy, and you are so right. I'm sorry, but look, just because they might live a little differently than us, we can't accuse them of this is the worst thing that could ever happen to somebody. You know what I mean? That's just the truth. And I think that they deserve to be treated with some respect as parents of a missing child. And especially if you're covering the case, if your content or your income, as Miss Daisy likes to say, is based completely around your coverage of this case. And even more so if you're doing a damn nightly show about it. I'm sorry, but if your income is completely based off of Summer's case and her name, then can you just, which she does, but a lot of channels don't like the Wells. It's just the disrespect. I don't know. I just don't want to be a part of doing that kind of stuff. But I do want to be able to honestly discuss this with you guys, and that's just where I'm at right now. People see proof of Candace and Dawn's dysfunction and take that as proof of their guilt, but that's a big leap. Absolutely. And aren't we all dysfunctional at times? And especially if we're using. And I can tell you right now, I don't have one urge to go back to using drugs. And I used heavy drugs, Xanaxes, oxys, heroin, all the things. I have not one urge. But if something happened to one of my babies, I'd be fucked up as a football bat. I'm telling you, there ain't no way that I could do it. And I know that would be what would cause me to relapse. I am already certain of it. So can you imagine if these two, they already have a problem with partying and stuff, and this happens? You're definitely going to, come on. That's what we do as addicts. Like, I don't know. It just makes sense. Filth does not make it probable they were involved, but being poor does not excuse filth and or neglect. I agree 1,000%, hippie chick. I don't want to be mean to the parents, but something's not right here. Well, I don't want you guys to feel you can't share your opinions. You can have I think it's so different with someone running a channel versus you guys in the chat. I just think, so just be as respectful as possible, but share your honest opinions. Remember the case where the girl was hit by a delivery? Yes. As a matter of fact, Thistle, when that happened, I thought of this case because that was Athena. It wasn't Athena Brownfield. It was the other one. What was her last name? And the FedEx driver. And at that time, this little girl goes missing. The internet is going crazy blaming her family because things didn't look so good at home. This little girl was living out, her bedroom was a building out in the yard and things like that. It was a similar situation, right? And the internet was already blaming the family, and come to find out it was a damn FedEx driver. And I'm telling you, I immediately, when we learned that, thought of Summer. And that is one of the reasons why I was like, okay, we need to take a step back, especially as creators. Come on now. Another thing that taught me a lesson was Idaho. Fully being convinced that hoodie guy, even when Steve Gonsalves mentioned that in that interview, I was like, that's it. It was, in my head, I thought it was him for sure. And it wasn't. And this is this young man who has his whole life ahead of him and was named a murderer online by just a bunch of idiots watching the internet, and me included. I'm including myself in that because I was acting like an idiot. But you know what I mean? I would too. That would be the only way I'd be able to deal. Now, I told you I'd go stop that. I know. Her ex-friend Allie didn't help either. That's true. I would end up in the psych world for real. I would be with you, Alex, if something happened to my children. Athena Strand. Yes, you guys. Thank you. Respectful opinions are always good to hear. Absolutely. That was just a few hours from you, Wicked West. Hey, can you drop Deet's channel, Nay? Stephanie Bohr, so the place that made her age progressed photos, they have a lot of experts. There is a science that goes into it. I mentioned this earlier. I think that they use, old photos of both of the parents and things like that. So it's not just, someone's opinion. I wish that y'all could truly see like how steep and bumpy the driveway was. I wonder why they changed their mailbox. I heard that purple also means do not disturb because their whole property line had purple stuff on it. This is the opposite side of the road. So this is, in my video, I call it poison ivy. It's actually Virginia creeper. I've learned that now. It looks very much like poison ivy and can cause a reaction, but it's not poison ivy. But this is quite steep as well. This is directly across from the driveway. Let's say she wandered off. She couldn't, there's no way. It's just too much brush and too steep. Let me see if there was anything else I wanted to show you guys from this video, because there's one, I want to get into a couple more things before we go, and we've already been here a while. Also, I saw a red truck. See, I was showing the purple marked on their property. I saw a red truck in this area that there it's extremely close, and they live right down from where you turn down Ben Hill Road. The red truck looks very similar to what the police put out that they were looking for. So the lady was out in her driveway in her truck when I drove by, and I just kind of stopped and I rolled down my window and I asked her, "Have you heard of this case?" She had not heard of it. She lived like less than a half a mile from the end of Ben Hill Road. She was on Beach Creek, and she had not heard of the case and drove a similar truck. That gave me like the ick, because I'm like, okay, so police have not talked to her, even though they're looking for this truck. It's, this close. That's concerning. Okay, so this is the hillside I was telling you about that like goes into the creek. The creek, yeah, it's just straight up and down, like a 90-degree angle in places up to the guardrail, the creek, and then this mountain. It would be really hard for her to climb down. And even this hillside, this is some of her stuff, like the toys and stuff that were on the hillside. There was like a bike and some other things. I don't know that it was Summer's, like Olivia said. It was old kids' toys, that had went over the hill. But it's very steep as well. So she would have to come down that hill, through that creek, up that side, and to the road to make it to the main road. So I think that seems pretty far-fetched. This is, remember the shed? This is one of the sheds on the property. Another interesting thing is the land right down from them. There's a lot of cameras because it's a farm, and I guess that they have cattle that they sell or something like that. It's like a pretty big deal. So there is the little poster at the end of her driveway and the Paw Patrol dog I told you guys about. I would really like to go back. No, I don't think so. Not with just one Midwest Meemaw, because I've thought about that as well. I think if it was both of them, if it was just one, I couldn't, I don't think, you couldn't. You'd have to be toughen up. But you're right, no reservations. You'd have to be there for your other one. Me and Woofy have talked in depth about that stuff. Email Chasing, she can give you the information on the blip billboards. Okay, Nana, I will. Hoodie guy got me too. No way. I'm surprised by that, Mr. Tomato Head, because you're usually pretty good about that stuff. The doctor I work for say losing a child is the most painful grief a person goes through, no matter the age. Oh, I want to, Deets. I think that you do a great job. And thank you for getting Foxy's too, Crazy Mama, because I love sharing hers as well, always. I think you do a great job. You talk about important stuff. Your video on the stuff that happened on that farm over there the other day was it was a wonderful live. Like, I was completely in it for every moment. I think I watched like an hour and then had to watch the rest after. But I was just so invested in hearing that. I thought you did an excellent job. You always try to pay attention to all the comments. You try to keep things extremely fair. So, yeah. I think you're doing awesome over there. Hey, Guidance. I love that. I love your channel. I love you as well. I lost my son and didn't go back out and get high because what about my other children and his son? My grandson needs me to be present. Absolutely, Midwest Meemaw, and I'm so sorry. But if something happened where I didn't have my kids at all, then again, I've got my mom, and I've already missed out on too much with my years of using with her too. I regret that so much. That guilt and that regret, man, it does not go away. Oh, okay. During the vigil, the mailbox was on its last leg. That makes sense then. Okay, Mrs. Chewy. Yeah, I would replace it as well. Oh my God. It looks like poison oak. Yeah, it does look like some kind of poisonous thing like that. You're right, Midwest Meemaw. Play the tape all the way through. I love that. I think that is one of the best lessons you can learn in like recovery and NA, that kind of stuff. Oh, Eddie's been a member for 5 months. Thank you, Eddie. And Leo for 8 months. Thank you, guys. So you're in a neighboring county, and a lot of people don't know the case. Okay, I'm trying not to miss y'all's comments. I hate missing them, but I really want to. There's a couple other things I want to look at. So let me just. You have us too. That's true, B Crumbs. That is so true. Delana, forgot about that. I'm so sorry for all of you guys. Okay, so Coffin Daffer, many people don't like her. I wanted to touch on this just for a second, though, because she points out her issue with local law enforcement, and I think that's quite interesting. So she says, Summer Wells remains missing. It will be 2 years this summer. This case is the definition of cold, and with the issues surrounding local law enforcement, I don't know if Summer will ever be found. Then she shares an old post of hers where she said, and this is just her opinion, she's retired FBI. You know, many people have their thoughts on her, especially surrounding the Idaho case, and we won't even get into that. Just know that she was a professional in the field. So nearly 1 year since Summer went missing, the inconsistencies of the family remain deafening. Her case is as cold as winter. No hope law enforcement will solve unless she's found or their silence breaks. This is just her opinions. Then she says Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson's son, the sheriff in charge of her case, pled guilty to 4 counts of attempted aggravated sexual battery, but received 1 year in jail on a 20-year sentence. Yes. And he didn't even, I don't think he even did the full year. I remember something about that. Police say not cooperating, so I'm sure that has plays a part in her stuff there. And we won't go through that. It's from Don being in jail. The evidence available does not suggest a stranger abduction. Let's hope the boys' interviews yield information useful to the recovery. So then, yeah, I don't know. She says, my read, this is her read on it. Her opinion, she says, my read is they should have charged Dawn and Candace with child neglect. If they had cause to remove the children, they had cause to charge. This would have put pressure on them early. Now what happened has been so covered up, even Grandis doesn't keep her story straight. Now, I don't like, Jennifer Coffindaffer called her Grandis. Are you freaking kidding me? Number one, you didn't spell their names right. Candace and, but number two, even when I have been more vocal on my thoughts towards these parents, I have tried to, you know, I respect my elders. I absolutely refuse to call her Grandis. I find that disrespectful. We know that she doesn't like it. So we always call her Grandma Candace here. But the fact that retired law enforcement calls her that and doesn't even spell it right, I'm sorry. I just don't like that. What in the world? That is just so unprofessional. I mean, I don't know. What the? Mm-mm. What evidence available? Professional would have said her name. I cannot believe that. You've always told me about that, even privately when I call her Grandis. I know, because she doesn't like it. She's an elderly woman, and we don't know that. I don't care what you think about her. I showed you guys earlier, you know, she put a booth out for Summer at this missing event a long time ago, and then they did the one recently. She doesn't like being called that. I don't know. I just don't like it. I know many people do. I don't care who else calls her that. But when you're a professional like this, I just feel, come on, man. Come on. Really? It's a spelling error. No, not the spelling error, Midwest Meemaw. The name, Grandis. Because that's not her name. Her name is Candace as well. And Grandis is a nickname that some of the YouTubers have given her. And she has asked people to please not call her that. That just tells me she gets her information from speculatory channels and not LE sources, which is weird for ex-FBI. Yeah, I could see that because she's definitely in with a lot of the, media and even the YouTube channels and stuff like that. You don't look for something that's not missing. I'm just not sure these people have the intelligence to cover their tracks, not to throw shade. But yeah, not the spelling error, Midwest Meemaw. That's one thing. But I may have called her that. A lot of people do. Woofy does. And she still does, even to me when I don't. I just don't want to. It just feels wrong. It's like just what the channels have put together for she's the grandma, her name's Candace, but she does, like I said, she doesn't like it. She's asked for it, I don't know. That's just the way I feel about it. Did someone say the boys had been adopted? I don't really want to get into that too much. Just because these kids are these little boys are going to think about how much technology has changed for us. Think of how much we have access to with the internet. These children are going to watch and see and be able to read everything from this case, right? And I've talked about it before when that list came out about what FBI removed from the house, that receipt and stuff. I want to be more careful. I want to do it right. I don't want these kids to I don't want to contribute to hurting these kids even more. I call her that myself. Sorry, just what I call her because it's easier when discussing. Crazy mama. Grandma Candace, because both mom and grandma are named Candace. Right. Coffin Dapper has lost her way. Just saying that, what if it isn't the parents doing the cover up? What if it's much deeper than just parents covering up an accident? I've seen a lot of people with that theory, Shayla. I've called her that as well. I don't care if y'all call her that. You know what I mean? I'm just not going to do it. Deet says Candy is also fun to call her. We have watched so many that are much more coherent than Dawn and Candace get caught, tried, and convicted. They couldn't pull off the perfect crime, in my opinion. Oh, wow. Really? Preschool granny? That's interesting. Okay. What else did I want to show y'all? Oh, yes. Okay. So just to touch on, and we've touched on it already a little bit, what happened with, you guys need to check out Deet's Lab. It goes way in detail into this stuff, but I just want to talk about for a second, and I don't actually know. I know some of the clips of that panel have been taken down, or I would play that. But Evil Exists has this one. Let's see. We're going to watch this for a minute and then comment on it. I hope that I grabbed the right one. Dawn's idea of what Summer Wells is going through never changed. Yeah, I don't think this is the one, but it had Brandy on the thing. So let's just play it and we'll see. Evil Exists is an awesome channel. I'm going to drop the link. They're a great place for you guys to get like short information without all the commentary. Oh, have you guys seen Leonard Amber sent me an article? Delphi, Richard Allen's lawyer, put in a motion that is quite interesting. It completely shocked me. Oh, thank you, Nay. You rock. I have the slash chat clip if you need it. I love that. Here, let me play this and just.
Could not comprehend the way Don Wells talks about his missing daughter, Summer Wells. The scenarios he puts out there is just so troubling. The one that made me feel physically sick is when he talked about Summer being in some motel room, beaten.
Okay, no. We're not going to do this. But it does actually. Okay, so Brandy, Michael Vaughn's mom, joined the panel over on this channel that Dawn was on because she wanted to ask a couple questions, talk about a couple things, but she also wanted to make the point that she doesn't want her son's name brought up when talking about SA and all of these possibilities that could have happened. Dawn, he's always had a kind of a dark but realistic outlook on what could have happened to Summer. I mean, almost immediately he talks about the resurrection and that stuff, which caused a lot of drama and speculation. But also he's very aware of what goes on in this world, and it's just the truth. There's a lot of freaks out there. There's a lot of bad shit that happens. You gotta be very cautious and careful and protect your babies, and he kind of looks at it in more of that way. But let me see. I think they have the clip that. See, this is the one that we were watching. Let me see.
Physically speaking, there's a good chance she is already dead. What kind of father speaks like that about his missing child? Make it make sense. They gave up hope right from the start by talking about Summer in the past tense and talking about seeing her in the resurrection.
That's not really my point. I just was trying to get the clip
Given
from
a
that
better
live.
life, she was stolen so bad things can be done. During the
Sure.
panel with Brandy Neal the other night, he said the first few nights, he wondered what Summer was going through, whether she was being beat or whatever. Brandy Neal started screaming no no no. She just couldn't bear the thought of listening to those words, let alone saying them out loud. Honestly, the way Dawn casually talks about all this too is troubling. How can a parent to a missing child
Okay. I really was looking for that clip, and I grabbed this right before the live because I had Brandy's thing and someone told me they clipped it. But also I know that she's been striking people, so I won't even worry about trying to get the clip. But regardless, okay, so the woman comes up and she knows to the day how long her son's been missing. And like I said earlier, if you missed it, I think that that doesn't mean anything if you don't know to the day, to me, but I've never been through something like that. But also we have this creator who is just completely focused on, people stealing her content, her income, and being completely rude to Brandy. And it's just something I wanted to note at the end of this live, because this is why I hardly talk about the case. There's a couple of reasons. Number one, that I don't talk about Summer's case very often. There's not a lot of news coming out, right? And number two, there's a lot of people like that channel that go live every single day on the case. No new information. But she actually told Michael's mom, the reason I don't talk about Michael that much is because there's nothing new. There's nothing new with Summer. But anyways, it's become a huge problem, and it's definitely caused issues with the case. I mean, almost every time that TBI has spoken out recently, there's been hints at, this at the drama and the bullshit. They mentioned the speculation. They mentioned don't call in tips from watching YouTube videos and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's really sad. I want to find a way to help. I want to share her picture and stuff, right? That needs to be shared, but I don't want to join in on that. So I don't know. I think maybe if we can figure out this blip thing, we'll do one of those billboards from the channel for a little bit, and yeah, go from there. So let me see what you guys say. I really appreciate you guys who went out and did that booth for Summer. Thank you so much. Trev Time, I think it is. Trevor, thank you so much for doing that at the races. I grabbed that link to show you guys, but I've got to go in a minute. Let me see. Because the local news did an article on him going to the races. I had some other clips too, but that's all right. We don't really have a ton of time left today, so we'll go through it at another time. But Midwest Meemaw, I'm very cautious about who I subscribe to. Trev is amazing. Love Trev. I don't blame you, Midwest Meemaw. I think we go into YouTube and we don't realize sometimes exactly what it entails. I don't think I did. I do question why Robin said in Chris McDonough interview that Dee Dee had been up at the Hill earlier that day. Who's Dee Dee? David Dotson. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, but that's another problem. I think that with this case, Chris McDonough, I'm very sorry for Dawn's sisters and anything they've been through, and not to undermine that at all. I just think that when that was brought out and put all over YouTube, it took so much of the attention off Summer and onto that. And then it intertwined the two, where now you have people who regularly talk about Summer as if she has been sexually assaulted or something like that. We have no evidence of that. Don't you dare put that on that baby's name. I have said this for at least the last 6 months to a year. I am so tired of seeing that. There is no evidence of it, and she does not deserve that. Not only that, remember, those boys will have access to all of this one day, all of it. And I have to say to the people who cover this, everyone who covers this case on either side, please think about that. Would you be proud of your videos being viewed by those kids? Because I think about that. Those kind of things bother me immensely. We cannot create and cause more damage to people who are already very damaged from such a tragic, event. But anyways, thank you guys for being here. Dr. Phil said Dawn doesn't know shit, but Candace knows more. I know. I've had so many theories. That's been one of my theories. Could one be involved and not the other? Possibly, but also it's possible that it was a complete stranger. It's possible someone followed them home. It's possible someone saw them, when they went to Dollywood or Pigeon Forge or whatever, and started, watching them. I don't know. There's so many possibilities. Summer is a beautiful little girl, blonde hair, big blue eyes, just, beautiful. And not that she wouldn't be beautiful with other hair and eyes, but she's just a beautiful girl. And so who knows? Chris is just messing it all up. Yep, I said that. I agree. I think it definitely damaged it. Oh, really? You think Dr. Phil is a scammer? I used to love him. Not everyone cares about counting things in days. I haven't used it in over a decade, but I have no idea how many days. Me neither. That's exactly how I was. I did not give a shit about how many days at that time. I barely could function. Some people do it and it helps, but not everybody does, right? So they probably already do. God almighty, Deets, I hope and pray that you're talking about the boys watching this stuff. Whew. I'm sorry, but if you don't think about that and feel it in your heart, in your gut, in your soul, and it doesn't make you think about what you're putting out there, then you don't need to have a channel that talks about this stuff, because that bothers me to my core. All right. I don't know. At one point he did, but I think he got it back. Dr. Phil also said he didn't think they were involved despite all of that. Oh, Midwest Meemaw, I'm so sorry. I know. And I'm so sorry for you. Me crumbs. I really loved Mike. I wonder if he still does that channel. Oh, Birdie's crime chat. I was confused about what even you meant there. Anyways, he didn't, Shayla. That is true. But I think he was buzzed at the time, right? Because he even asked Candace and she didn't know either. But think about what these parents have been through. This is what we're going to end with from YouTube. In the name of summer, justice, love, and all the things. I guarantee you they have videos made about them shit talking them daily. I would bet anything on it every single day. But whatever, that's one thing, right? They have had people show up to their work, get them fired from their jobs. I will never forget hearing them protest and hearing them say things like, "What'd you do? Snap her neck? What'd you do? Punch her in the face? Where'd you bury her?" I don't know how you could even make your mouth say those things like that regarding her. And they have been put through hell. The misinformation is blaring. It's everywhere with this case. It's similar to the Idaho case, which is a huge problem. But things have to change. We have to do things differently, even if you think they look suspicious, right? There used to be a lot of people who were suspicious of Michael Vaughn's mom and these recordings that came out of her discipline one of her kids and different things like that. And then look, police have arrested people and they already know basically who, we don't know what they know, but we know that it had nothing to do with, even though she, to be clear, she wasn't even home at the time when he went missing, but people still, worse that they talk and they were proved to be wrong. So I just think that we really need to think about this stuff. And if we want to, in the name of these kids and get attention for them and stuff like that, do it the right way. Right? It doesn't have to be lives every single day, raking in the funds. You can, like these people are doing, the booths, the flyers, the billboards, the Facebook ads. Come on, you guys. Like, I don't know. I don't even know. nobody knows nothing. So either no one knows or some loner is real slick. Yep, Scott's been there too. Do you still have the videos on your channel? They can drop it if you don't mind, Nate or Miss Crazy. But anyways, thank you guys for being here. I really do love and appreciate you guys. And yeah, I know you don't bring it up for sympathy, Midwest Meemaw. Well, I'm sorry, because I think these topics are probably a little triggering to some of the things you've been through. And I'm sorry, so sorry for that. And I try to keep that in mind, because I have other friends who have lost, yeah. So I just think that it's important to keep in mind, but I would never think you do it for sympathy, and we love and appreciate you here. And yeah. So anyways, you guys have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. I've got so much to do. I got to go to the pharmacy, go to the post office, go to the school, yada, 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 yada. Like whatever, like Letitia says. But yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you to my mods. Please check out the wonderful channels that we've shared and dropped. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Thank you for everything. Bye.